It's usually associated with some kind of damage to the brain. That could be the result of a stroke, it could be associated with a brain tumor, it could be after a traumatic brain injury. They're basically unable to communicate to those around them.
These people are all suffering from aphasia.
Aphasia makes me feel like a half person.
Lost of words, not English.
If you haven't heard this yet, Bruce Willis is stepping away from acting because he has aphasia. And I can understand the situation on that. Because my wife does suffer from aphasia as well because of her stroke she had several years ago. It's not as bad as probably Bruce Willis is going through right now, but I can see what, from what she's gone through. I can understand what Bruce is going through, and his is probably about tenfold for him to walk away from this. Because one thing my wife has done, she's been able to, with the help of her singing, has been able to maintain her focus. And let me read a little bit into this, and we'll get it from people. Bruce Willis is retiring from acting after being diagnosed with aphasia. The 67-year-old actor shared news on Instagram Wednesday, along with a photo of him on his feeds to Bruce's amazing supporters, families. We want to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him, the caption added. According to the Mayo Clinic, aphasia robs you of the ability to communicate and can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. Now, what has happened with my wife from when the stroke happened to present day, she's gained a lot of that back. And like I said, that's through therapy and through her singing. And, she's come back a long way from that. We thought we've lost her, but still, she still has some afflictions on there. There are times where she can't sometimes say certain things. I have to get her to say it, and it takes her time to understand what she's trying to say. The group added that the condition typically occurs suddenly after a stroke or head injury, but can also come gradually from a slow-growing brain tumor or disease that causes progressive permanent damage, degenerative. And that's what's happening with my wife. It's degenerative, but she's keeping strong. Bruce's family's Instagram post went on to say it's a real challenging time for them all. I can understand that. We're so appreciated the continued love, compassion, and support. We're moving through as a strong family unit and want to bring fans in because we want to know how much it means to you as to him. As Bruce says, live it up, and together we'll plan to do just that. Singing the note from the actor's daughter, Rumor Willis, Scout Willis, Tallulah Willis, Mabel Willis, Evelyn Willis, and wife Emma Hemming Willis, and ex-wife Demi Moore. Yeah, I mean, like I said, my wife is going through it. She's had some success in the therapies she's had. Mostly it's for her to concentrate on her music and her singing, and it allows her to focus. Some days she's right on target, and other days it's, you have to sort of jumpstart her, and it takes her a while to jumpstart. It takes time, and I can understand for Bruce. And we said this before. We were wondering, because he had some sort of earpiece in the last couple of movies he had, and people were saying, well, he had the hearing loss. But that earpiece kept moving from right to left. And for that's telling us that earpiece is not a hearing aid, that basically it is a receiver device for retrieving information from someone on the other end, feeding his lines, where he has forgotten his lines, and I guess he's been fed it. And that's been happening. But hey, listen, this is something you can't hide. You can't hide this. My wife tried to hide this, and she couldn't. If it wasn't that the doctor told me, I would have not known. I would think that something else was wrong and send her back to the hospital. I mean, the stroke my wife had, and they're still writing papers. I kid you not on this. I think it's NYU, that medical center, I believe it's the medical center, that they were writing papers about her. And I think they're still doing the research on her, because I think they still they're still keeping tabs on her medical condition. But they're doing it from afar now. They're not really. I think that it's like basically any information that the doctor gets, it's sent directly to them. The type of stroke my wife had was a stroke that either should have put her into the grave or kept her in a wheelchair, semi-comatose for the rest of her life. But that didn't happen. After about 2 weeks, she was out of the bed, walking, talking, and weeks later she was back to work. She went back to work. And it's amazing the strength that you have. And I hope that Bruce can hang in there and keep his strength up, because I know he's strong enough to do it. It is possible. Take it from me. Someone who has someone in his life that basically she's going through the same issue. So hopefully maybe Bruce Willis will come back again to movies, but let's give him and his family some time. Let him relax. If you see him on the street, just breeze by and says, we love you, and that, let him move with his life. Autographs are nice to get, but let them on that. Just tell him you love him. That's about, he'll feel great about that. If he calls you over and wants to give you an autograph, that'll be fine.